Hello there. Today I'm going to show you how to eliminate the slow shutdown problem in Windows 7 that some people are having, including me for the longest time. Even with you have an SSD drive, you shouldn't have slow shutdown problems. There's absolutely no reason for it. But the problem is that when you set prefetch, it's not just going to, when you clear the, set the registry entry, there's a registry entry you can set to clear the prefetch file, but it doesn't solve, I mean, it will bypass it, but it doesn't really solve the actual problem. Okay, so another thing you can do is, and
seems like you have some real problems.
You don't, bear with me here, because you don't just
right now, I gotta find the three other
say no page file. You say no page file, but you want a page file later. Okay, because your computer will start running out of memory if you do certain tasks. For instance, do a surface scan on the desktop and so forth. That happened to me. So we need to go through here. We'll start by saying no page file. And down here we'll note the recommended size before we do that. The recommended size on mine is 49,057 megabytes. And you want to eventually set both the minimum and the maximum and the custom to that. Okay, so we're going to put no page file. We're going to set it. And if you have below 8 megabytes, excuse me, 8 gigabytes of system physical RAM, don't do this. Your computer will freeze up and you'll never get it booted again. You'll have to reinstall Windows. If you have above 16 gigabytes, it should be safe. I have 32.
And I need to find it first.
So bypass this screen because it's going to take forever to shut down. And that's part of the example.
Where'd you get that?
And clearing the page file, and we're not clearing the page file, that doesn't work.
No, the probe is much bigger than that.
Saying there's no page file, once you boot a second time after that, and then after, it will boot really fast. I mean, it'll boot like it's supposed to do. But the real way to solve this is not to completely eliminate the page file, but to delete the page file that's existing and then rebuild it, because it's obviously got some crap in there that need to be in there. Okay, so now we're going to boot to the desktop. We have waited about 2.5 minutes, but I don't care because I gotta wait to fix the damn thing. So the startup isn't the problem, at least not on my computer. It's just the shutdown.
Look, I think I need to clear my head.
Startup is what is typical of SSD drives, so that means there's nothing wrong with the hardware, or it'd be sluggish on the startup as well. So we'll go ahead and go through this.
Once he has done so, return to me,
okay.
And I will open the door.
And I'm gonna go ahead and turn all this crap down here off. I also disconnected from the internet so that I can turn my firewall off and all that, and I advise people to do the same. It's very important to do that. I mean, you may not think it is, but it actually is important to disconnect from the internet and doing stuff like this. We're going to go through and cripple all these programs so we can properly rebuild the page file. Now, right now we have no page file. So there's a few. Anyway, this is for Kaspersky. You may not even have Kaspersky. I'm not going to go through all this. I'm just going to do it on my computer because I got these programs. You have other programs. You may have a VAS virus scanner or whatever. Okay, so we're going to boot up, and I crippled everything, and now it's booting up in less than a fucking second. So it's working properly, but again, I'm going to show you how to get the page file back and have it do the same thing. So as you can see, well, I didn't even get the camera on in time. It booted so darn fast. Okay, we crippled everything. Now we're going to run CCleaner. That's a program that goes through and basically does better than the standard cleanup tool at cleaning all the crap off your computer. Especially do this after you set it to no page file. especially immediately after. So we'll go through and go through this crap. Make sure there's not anything in here that doesn't belong. Fine. And then we will run. Well, let's go through and look at the page. See if the prefetch is still a folder on the hard drive here. Folder. Okay. And I think it's still going to be a folder in here, even if you say no prefetch file. Okay, now we're going to delete this, but we're gonna put it. Where's the camera looking at? Too close. Okay. We're going to delete this, but we're going to put it back in, and we're going to spell it correctly because, again, there's a bunch of crap in here. Even though there says no prefetch file, we need to get this crap out of here and delete the folder entirely and put it back in. Otherwise, if you set it to no page file, even if you have 32 gigabytes of memory, which is plenty of memory, you're eventually still going to run out of memory. So, okay, we deleted that crap out of there. So now let's delete the folder, and we'll need to copy the name and make sure we spell it exactly right. Because I think what is happening is there's hidden files that are not being deleted because they're not showing up. And the best way to clean this mess up, probably caused by NVIDIA, is to delete the prefetch folder, prefetch with a capital P. Okay? Empty the recycling bin. Okay. Run disk cleanup on the C drive. Even though you run CCleaner, this will just kind of go through and kind of mop up the gaps that CCleaner might have left and probably didn't. So we'll go ahead and do this, and while that's slacking around. Okay, the next order of business after doing all that is you want to do a disk scan. Do a automatically fix system errors, don't bother with the other one, and just to make sure that you've got a good surface to run with, and we'll go ahead and rebuild the prefetch. So I'm going to go ahead and scan the disk, and then we'll be back. Okay, while we're waiting for the scan, I will point out that the folder that we just deleted has a security icon on it, a padlock kind of thing. I'm not sure if that will be disabled by default or not. I mean, enabled by default or not, but there is probably a way to set that up, but I'm not going to worry about it. And it's probably not a big deal since I am the administrator and I am the only one that runs this computer. In your case, if you are the administrator and you're the only one ever that uses your computer, it's probably not a big deal. If you're not, then you probably would want to think twice before deleting the folder, and maybe just delete the files inside, and hopefully you'll have got all the crap out of it. I don't know. Okay, now there are ways of defragging a SSD drive without it taking too terribly much damage. If the newer ones anyway, the older ones, I wouldn't recommend any form of defragging. They can get damaged really easily from writing and rewriting. But these new kinds, the crucial, okay, you don't actually go in here on the desktop, and this program is from Logistic. Now this is the professional program. There's a freeware version also, but if you don't have the professional, you can use Windows Standard, but it won't defrag everything. If you have an SSD, I recommend getting the professional. It's not that much money. It's probably like, what, $30 or something, and it does a good job of doing the offline defragging. So we're going to go ahead and set that up. enable for use, and this is the first initial thing we'll do. After the page file is out, then we'll put the page file back in. And what this does, it takes all that huge gap. We took a page file out that was about 64 gigabytes worth of, well, that's what I had it at first, but it was actually 49057 gigabytes worth of space, crap, and we just ripped it straight out of there. So even an SSD drive will need to be defragged after that. And it may not need to be defragged at all. If the page file isn't even there, it may not need to be defragged at all. In this case, because it's a solid state drive, there's no physical magnetic data being moved, but it's always worth, you should always go through and do an offline defrag if you have this utility. If you don't have the utility, you can skip the defrag process altogether and probably still gain performance, and the boot problem will be fixed, but I recommend doing it anyway. Okay, so what remains, okay, we need to go through here again, load this defragger up. We also need to make sure we write in the prefetch cache correctly, and we'll do a SSD scan internally. After we have done the prefetch, now we're going to do one here. This is different than the offline defrag, and this is an algorithm. This is not like a regular defrag, like Windows defrag, which will, can destroy any SSD drive. This has a special algorithm that doesn't go through and do deep defrag. In fact, you might find that it says that there are some files that are fragmented after you do this. In that case, it doesn't matter. It's not meant to really be defragged. There's really nothing you can do about it. In fact, Trim would probably eventually do something about that anyway, but there is a benefit to using an SSD algorithm to defrag a solid state drive. Just don't do it very much. Just when you're going to modify your page file and whatnot and clear all the garbage out of it, you get, well, who knows, online or NVIDIA's software or some stupid malware or whatever, Okay, we're through defragging the SSD. There's people that will say when you have an SSD drive to put your page file on your D drive, IDE drive, SATA drive. That's completely stupid. Don't do that, because it'll slow your computer down. The whole point of having an SSD drive is the page file and how fast it accesses the page file. So we're going to keep page file on the OS drive, which is the SSD drive, but we cleaned it out, so it should run better. We're going to set a static number. We're not going to let Windows manage it anymore or set highs and lows and write and all that crap. It's going to be a static number, and it's going to be what it was recommended to be in the first place. Okay, so we're going to set this to 49,057 minimum and 49,057 maximum. Your number may be different depending on how much RAM you've got. It's probably the underlying factor. Okay, so I've got a custom zoom size, and on my computer I will input my numbers the same on the top as the bottom, which is 49, 0, typing while I'm holding the camera, 57, and the same number down here, exactly the same number. Your number will be different, but you want both of these boxes to be the same identical number, whatever it is. Otherwise, Windows is having to manage it irregularity, and if it's a static number, Windows will no longer manage it. It will be a set number, and it will be in the page file on your system. So, okay, and there's one thing I almost forgot. Before we set it, we need to go and make another folder in the Windows subdirectory. So go to the Windows folder, Windows, and let's see. Okay, it looks like it rebuilds itself anyway. I didn't need to do that. So, well, what the fuck? This didn't do any good. Where the hell did all this shit come from? Okay. So even though we haven't even set the bloody thing yet... Okay, let me delete all this crap first. Okay, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Since it says none, I don't know why it's coming up with all that junk. So, okay, this is a warts-and-all video. I always make my video warts-and-all. I don't go through and preview things. Okay, that's the best way to do it, really. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and delete all this crap again. And be sure and clean out the recycling bin. Alright. Okay, now I'll go ahead and set my number here, which is the same number on the top and the bottom. 49057. And I think on most computers that have 32 gigabytes of physical RAM, that would be the number you'd want to set it at. Okay, then we'll reboot the computer, and it should... Now it'll boot faster this time because it's still in no page file mode. I don't know, maybe it won't. And this may or may not even cure the fucking problem. If it doesn't, I'm not going to fucking post this video. If it does, then I'll go ahead and post it, and it'll be like a solution or something. Okay, I've already rebuilt the prefetch folder, and so I'm going to go ahead and delete all this crap again, because it'll fill up pretty quick. See, it's already filling up right there with the dilhost.exe PF file, page file. We also need to go through and clear a temp folder and a recycle bin, and we would probably want to run CCleaner one more time and go through the procedure that I went through before about doing the CCleaner, the disk cleanup, Windows Microsoft disk cleanup after you run CCleaner, just to mop up a little bit of the excess, the mess that maybe CCleaner didn't get. Then do a quick scan, just the basic scan, not the surface scan, and then go through and defrag it again, and it should be cleared up. That should get the page file back into working order for Windows 7, and whether you have Home Edition or Ultimate or whatever. Mine is the Ultimate Edition, and it doesn't seem to make any difference what one you have. The Ultimate has tools you can use that the Home Edition doesn't have, or Home Premium, but you can use this particular procedure to correct this problem. So, like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye.